myself, truthfully. But people ask me about my families. They asked me about my husbands. People didn't know I was married. I've had one husband, I had another. Lots of men in my life. It's true. My first husband, Norm, I don't know if you watched me in the 80s. My first husband, Norman, but I called him Norm Everidge. He died in 1988. He died of a very rare disease. I don't know if any of you are suffering from it. He died of a prostate murmur. Many men have it. It starts out as a whisper, the prostate murmur, and it gets louder and louder. I mean, seriously, he was on stage 4 prostate murmur. And he was still at home, and the prostate became so loud. The neighbors would call me at all hours of the morning. And they'd call me up and they'd say, "Dame, can your husband keep his prostate down?" And I said, "Well, there's no volume control. There's a knob. But I'm not touching this." So he ended up in a nursing home at his last stage 4 of the prostate murmur. And Norm, we had to fulfill our children. We have 2 daughters and a son. And we had to fulfill Norm's dying wish. He'd always wanted to go to Mexico. That's a country I won't go to. I won't. But he always wanted to go to Mexico, so we wanted to treat him like he was in Mexico. So we brought some cacti into his room, and we put cactuses all around the room. We put a little man in the corner with a sombrero, selling tchotchkes in the corner. I think he was a janitor from the home, I don't know. He went along with it. We did a slideshow. Before you had PowerPoint back in 1988, we did a slideshow of Mexican. And then I asked the nurse to not give him his gastrointestinal medication that night. So we could truly experience Mexico. Just don't give him a dose. Let him feel like he's really in Mexico. I put my husband Norm on a pedestal, I did. Actually, I put him on a pedestal quite a lot with the help of staff when he was in the home. But then he passed and we built this obelisk. It's a prostate obelisk in Australia for him. And also because it was such a traumatizing experience for me. He was very young. I mean, I'm only 56, Possums. It's true. I know, I look good, don't I? Not a hint of that nip and tuck, what you Americans call it. Unlike Jim Rivers, have you seen her lately? Is it my imagination or she's starting to look like a Siamese cat? I mean, they can stretch her eyes so far to the side of her head, she cries out of her ears. And you remember that thing she used to say in the 80s? What did she used to say on the Hollywood squares? Can we talk? Exactly. Notice, she doesn't say it anymore. Because she can't. She has one look, it's this. But notice, see, this is true. I will tell you the truth on the Dame Edna show. Notice who's always with her? Her daughter Melissa. You didn't know that Melissa was a trained ventriloquist, did you? She's got her hand so far up her mother's... Possums, get your mind out of the gutters. Up the back of her dress, and her mother just stands there. And Melissa mouths what she's saying. It's true, Possums. Come back tomorrow. I won't be here, but come back. So I was so distressed at the whole thing. Because I do have a lot of money as a megastar. So I started a non-profit after Norman died. I did. I started the Edna Academy for testicular medical emergencies.